Are you tired of watching shows that only give you general social media theory and expect you to figure out how to apply it to your own industry? Join us for this week's episode of Social Chatter, the industry's longest running social media marketing news talk show. Not only will you learn the latest breaking news, but you'll also gain practical advice on how to apply it. Now here's your host, Christian Karasevich.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing news talk show. This is episode 314, and we've got quite a show for you this week. We're going to be talking about Instagram desktop. Now, this is a feature that people have been wanting this for so long. So we're going to be digging into it. We're going to show you how you actually use IG from your Mac or your PC. But first, I want to bring on my co-host, Sarah Monroe. And Sarah is going to introduce our guest, Andrew Kavanaugh. So, Sarah, it's fantastic having you join us for yet again another episode of Social Chatter. How you doing?
I'm great, and I am so looking forward to Instagram desktop publishing. I am so looking forward to it. You have it. I don't yet. I think we've talked about how I've been a longtime user of Creator Studio. I think since it started, I've been using Creator Studio. I can't wait to see if this is working better than Creator Studio because it'll be fantastic.
It is, yes. It's going to be pretty awesome, right?
So, yep. So let's bring on our guest who happens to be in the photo editing image space. So this is Andrew Kavanaugh, who's a digital artist, Photoshop tutor, photo editing expert. So it's great that we have Instagram as our main topic today with his skill set. So welcome, Andrew. Did we do a good job introducing you?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Fantastic. Yeah. And by the way, Andrew, we're going to talk more with him like here shortly. Like he has, I mean, when we talk about Facebook groups, we talk about building communities. We always talk about like community is where it's at. And he and I were chatting and he's like, you know what? He has like, he doesn't have like a group of 1,000, which seems really large. And then he doesn't have a group of like 10,000. He has some massive groups that he's managing. So we're going to talk with him more about those groups here shortly, how he manages them. And all that other stuff, the fun stuff that goes with it. Because I got to say, when you get to a group of 10 to 20,000, it's a lot of work. And so, Andrew, we're going to talk about that here shortly. Sarah, let's kick things off with this week's social media news. What's up? What are we?
It's all about Instagram desktop publishing. So forgo all formalities. We're going to go straight to it. It is Instagram desktop publishing. We've been waiting for this for a long time. They've given us a taste of it a little bit through Facebook Creator Studio, which if you're not using Creator Studio, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. So the announcement is that Instagram is going to allow you to post photos and videos less than 60 seconds as posts. So posts only to start, not reels, not stories. And let's just share your screen, Christian, because you've got it. I don't. I've been refreshing all morning, and I haven't seen it yet. Yep. So we're going to hop over to Christian's screen, I think, so that people can see exactly where it is. When you get it, you're going to see a little create icon next to the message icon on your desktop. And
there we go. Yeah. So here,
there it is.
Instagram. This is Instagram, by the way. So to use this, you go to Instagram.com. Here, let's do it this way, I think. So you simply go to Instagram.com. Okay. So initially I was like, oh, well, I got to go to the Instagram app or something. So go to Instagram.com. And then what you're going to see here, if you have the posting feature, you're going to see this cool plus icon up here at the top. And so when we're going to click this, we now have the ability to select a photo or video from our computer. As Sarah mentioned, 1 minute, I think, can link for video.
Yep. 60 seconds or less.
Yeah. And so what do you want to, do you want to do a photo or video? What do you want to do?
You know, let's do a video. Let's try a video. And, you know, when you and I were testing this out, we have to remember it's not a reel. You can only use, it's only going to be a video. It's going to be square. So this is very very reminiscent of Creator Studio. I have tried to post different sizes in Creator Studio, and they always come out as squares. So it's one of the quirks. Maybe it's just me, but it's looking like this this video too is going into the square format, even though it was filmed in the portrait mode. And you'll see that last frame we'd probably want to cut. So I think there are editing tools in this too, right, Christian?
Yes. So the first thing I want to mention here is, so I brought the image in. You can either select it from your hard drive, or you can just drag the photo or the video in. One thing I definitely want people to pay attention to is this little arrow icon in the bottom left corner. So if you click this, this is actually, so this gave me a 1-to-1 square for this video. However, we can make adjustments. So we can select 9:16, 16:9. That doesn't really work very well here, or we can just go with the original look here. So let's just go with the original one, I think, for now. And then what we can do off of this now, there's a couple other cool little features. So if you have additional, let's say you want to add additional items, you can click this icon and you can click the plus sign. You will have to select it from your hard drive, and then you can drag and drop your videos or your photos to be able to move them around, like reposition based off what you want first, what you want last, and so forth. But what we're going to do, we're just going to go with next here. And this is where, like, you can see, obviously you can play the video, but Sarah, you mentioned you can go and you can change the cover photo. You can trim the video, right?
Right. Yeah. So this is a time lapse. You'll see I didn't turn off the camera before I picked it up. So that last time lapse is that weird and wonky little image that we don't really want.
I gotta say, one thing that was a little, so I'm used to editing in like Final Cut Pro and Adobe. And so what I thought was really interesting about the cover photo is that, like, I was initially trying to drag the edges of the cover photo, but you actually have to drag the cover photo to the spot you want.
Oh, that's very cool.
So, and you can also choose an option from a computer as well. So if you have, in this case, Andrew, like if you've got a vertical image that you probably created for this, you know, the opening of this video, you could also upload that as well to replace that standard cover photo. Cool. So you said we should trim it, right? So how much should we trim off, Sarah?
Let's trim off just like the last little bit there. Okay. Just get that last frame out.
Okay. So as you can see, by the way, so you can only trim left and right, basically. So you kind of have to figure out where you want to end this. Okay. So you tell me when we want to stop here. So remember, it's 60 seconds, right? So let's.
Yep. And this video is only 20 seconds. Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's like every time you move, I notice every time you move the editor, so if you move the left or the right side, it actually restarts the video versus, so you kind of have to watch and figure out where you want to trim at. So just kind of keep that in mind. So I did pull in a couple of frames here. Let's see what's going on. So I think that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pull that. Another thing, if there is any audio on here, by the way, you can turn the audio on or off for the video. So that's here in the editor. And then we're just going to click next. And at this point, we can preview our video. We can write a caption. We can add emoji. We can add locations, change the accessibility for this, which basically is where you put alt text. So it's not alt text like SEO. It's alt text for telling people with like visual impairments what the image is about. So we might say something like, what was this, Sarah?
It's a time lapse of Hurricane Irma leaving the Atlantic Ocean or the East Coast.
Perfect. So we can put that in. We can put our caption in. Let's see if you can do this. So this is actually kind of interesting. So if you want to pick a hashtag for Instagram, by the way, you can actually do a little hashtag research as well, which is kind of neat.
It's so much better than Creator Studio.
It is, yes. That one, I'm not actually going to post this, and there's some advanced settings as well here. So you can turn off commenting as well. And then as I mentioned, you can also go and tag people. So if I click this, let's just see if Sarah's in here. Here we go. So we can pick Sarah, and then let's say we want to tag Andrew as well. On Instagram, right, Andrew? There we go. Look at that. Yep. So we got a couple people tagged. And then all we have to do here is just click share. And at that point, it's going to share it out to our Instagram account. So pretty neat little feature. I'm going to bring it back to us. So what do you think about this, Andrew? Useful feature? What do you think?
Yeah, of course. I mean, for me too, I do a lot of photo montage work, so
Okay.
I like to post directly from my computer too. I've been wanting this for years, so
Yes. And there's been so many workarounds. I mean, I know like a few years ago, I had to use a third party like emulator to potentially emulate Instagram so that I could post from a desktop. It would sort of work, it sort of would not.
right.
Mhm.
Sarah, what do you think? Are you excited about this?
I'm very excited about it, and seeing some of those controls, it's a little cleaner. It looks kind of like Creator Studio, but it's a little cleaner. There's not a lot of visual noise. You can really focus in on what you're doing. I do like that you can trim video with a mouse
Right.
because all of us, that raw video came from my phone. I couldn't get that last frame off the trim, right? Because it just kept going kabonkers on me.
Yeah.
I am a little disappointed that the videos that you upload have to be less than 60 seconds because how many of us, unless you're using, a Gore Pulse, Hootsuite, something like that,
Uh-huh.
to have a longer video. Remember last week, Instagram announced that IGTV is going away. It's going to be Instagram TV. You can have videos in your news feed up to 60 minutes. So who's going to put that size video onto a mobile device to then upload to Instagram if you're not using one of these other products, right? And
Absolutely.
I'm not really familiar with the other products to know whether or not you can actually add a video of longer than a minute into your Instagram feed.
I know last week we talked about Instagram TV, and this makes me think like, okay, so Instagram hopefully is going to start to roll out some of this for like obviously they're adding some desktop features. I would not be surprised at some point if maybe we do get an Instagram TV, which is more like YouTube as a platform where
Mhm.
people can upload longer videos, and then they're creating some of these short videos. I do want to go back to a question actually we got in the comments. And this is from Chris from
Chess.
Cast Ahead, and he said,
Yeah.
"How do we know if we have the feature or not? A plus sign just shows up on your browser-based account somewhere." And so, to answer that, Chris, yes, actually, it looks like this. And so, what you'll see is this plus sign here in the top. So basically, it's this little plus sign right here where my mouse is, and that basically means that you have the ability to post photos and videos to Instagram from your desktop. So, and basically you
Right.
just click that. It's going to bring up the create new post option. You can drag a photo in, you can drag a video in, 60 seconds or less. And that's basically how it works. Pretty straightforward,
Mhm.
actually. This is also rolling out, by the way, to everyone. I know, Sarah, you said you did not have it.
I don't have it. I just checked again. Maybe they're just going through the alphabet and they're on the C's, Christian, and not the S's yet. But I don't have it yet. It is rolling out worldwide today.
Fantastic.
Is what they said. What the news says is
Absolutely.
worldwide today. So yeah.
So Andrew, I want to go back to you real quick on this. So let's talk about it from a business perspective. So you mentioned it, and so in your case, like you're a designer, you do a lot of things from a
Photoshop.
computer. Do what? Yeah, Photoshop,
From
right?
Photoshop. Yeah.
Which is totally cool. And so you use that, and you probably do it because you probably get better control over things. You get the ability to make edits that you could probably do on a mobile phone, but it's probably easier on a more color graded monitor, things like that. How do you think a business should like approach this?
Right. I mean, originally I would have to, if I created a design or a, digital art, I'd have to create it, upload it to my Photos app on my desktop, and then
Okay.
therefore check to see it's on my mobile phone. And then, sometimes it would take a little time for that to kind of upload, and then I would bring it into Instagram.
Okay.
Now I'll be able to just directly post to Instagram, and it just saves you time. You don't have to kind of like, keep checking things. You can just kind of be direct about it.
Okay.
Mhm.
And in terms of business, yeah, I mean, time is money, right? So, I mean, people can really focus on getting a lot more done without having to do all the different steps to get their image up on Instagram. Now, the question is if they're going to be changing the name of Facebook because of this metaverse, are they going to be changing the name of Instagram as well?
Oh, you're bringing up the
That's a
hot
good one.
topic, the controversy, Andrew.
Throwing it in.
I actually don't. I don't think so. If it,
Drop a bomb.
chances are, I know Facebook's looking to change their name. I think that what's going to end up happening is it'll be like Google. Like Google won't necessarily disappear. People still call it Google, but it's under a parent company.
Yeah.
So it'll probably end up being the same thing. They'll probably stick with Facebook. They'll probably stick with Instagram, but they'll probably, if they do it like Google did, they rebranded as Alphabet. So
yeah. Google is a company within Alphabet for those people who don't know. So there's probably going to be something that Instagram and Facebook and Messenger and WhatsApp, let's, talk about all the properties, right, will fall under.
And Oculus. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yep.
So I got to say, I'm super excited about this whole posting to Instagram thing. I know, Sarah, you said we had a lot of other news this week about Instagram as well, didn't we?
We do have a lot of other news about Instagram. And the next one that's coming up is Collab. So this is to allow Instagram creators. So it sounds like you need to be a creator account to do this. You can create reels and story videos.
It's real. Yeah, you can do reels.
No,
and
I'm
posts.
sorry. You can do reels and posts. Sorry, I'm looking through my notes and I'm losing my train of thought here. So you can share posts and reels. So this is only content in the newsfeed again, and you can have a creator. Sorry, I'm going to turn off my camera so it's not so glitchy while we do this. So you can share with a collaborator. The posts will go to both profiles and you will share the view counts.
Pretty cool.
So it's a cool way. Again, they are copying TikTok in a way because TikTok has that whole duet feature. I haven't seen this in action to see if you do split screen, if it's really going to be like a TikTok duet, or if it's just a way to collaborate on content and then have it post to both profiles. So we'll see how it works. It's just part of an announcement that they're running through right now for Instagram. So kind of cool. We'll see where it goes. I think what's more exciting are the next two pieces of Instagram news. One is we don't have a slide for it, but they are adding fundraisers. So when you go to create a post or a reel, you will have, if you scroll all the way down, they're testing a fundraiser feature, which is a great game changer for nonprofits, because Facebook as a company doesn't take a high fee when it comes to fundraising. You don't necessarily get all of the contact information for that donor, but you can get some great visibility for fundraisers and people can create them on their own. So it's great to see them broadening this fundraiser aspect. The other piece, kind of big news and ties into what Facebook announced last week, which is that they are going to allow you to schedule Instagram lives up to 90 days ahead of time, which is terrific. If you remember last week, we had the news that Facebook was allowing Facebook Live scheduling up to 90 days. So it's great to see that Instagram is going to let you do that too.
Yeah.
I think that covers all the Instagram news for this week. Oh no, we got one more. One more. Okay. Holiday season. They're doing a guide to holiday shopping, holiday merchandising, holiday season. So some great tips. You're going to see these next couple weeks, right as we switch over from October to November, a lot of insights. We're seeing a lot of insights come out about different hashtags for different holidays and different advertising guides and shopping guides. So Instagram is releasing theirs this week. So definitely something to check out. We'll link that in the show notes in our blog post that will go out over the weekend. And it's also been tweeted out on the Social Chefs Twitter account.
Absolutely. So I got to say, I mean, out of all these Instagram news topics for the week, got to say that the desktop one, I think the collab feature is pretty neat. I think that's going to be super useful for a business. I mean, I could see businesses like partnering with like if I'm a business, I may want to go partner with an influencer, for example. You know, if I'm an influencer, maybe I want to work with other influencers. I mean, just
Mhm.
I love the concept of that. It also then shows on the post that, you know, for example, at Ceremonial VT, at Social Chefs, for example, that like that we're posting together on that post. I think that's pretty neat versus, hey, one account's gonna post it and then the other ones might be tagged. So I
Right.
really like that.
Well, you have to keep in mind, though, what this announcement is saying is for creator accounts. So if you
Right.
switch your business account, which is where you get all that great data and analytics on what's performing on your posts and reels and hashtags and all of
Mhm.
that, if you switch to a creator account, you're going to lose a lot of that analytics.
Yep.
Creator accounts really funnel down on what you can see as far as data. So as a business, you may not want until they allow this to collab between business pages and creator pages.
So do y'all think that business pages will ever like, do you think they'll, I mean, maybe we shouldn't say ever, but like, how long do you think it'll take for a business to get this functionality? Because I mean, I think the one thing that Facebook has always been driving towards is that it's about people and not businesses.
Mhm.
Like, you know, people hide behind brands a lot of times. And so,
Yeah.
like, that is a thing where, like, the collab feature, if it's like, you know, I'm collaborating with Andrew and Sarah on something,
Mhm.
like, it's not like, oh, well, we're collaborating under like some company name. So,
Right. Well, keep in mind that business pages on Instagram are different than business pages on Facebook, right?
right, right,
My Instagram account is technically a business account so that I can see I can play around in the analytics and the metrics and things like that and see what's changing so that when I do have my brand accounts that
yeah,
I'm managing, I know, oh, I'm playing in my own personal sandbox, so I don't mess up anybody else's account and I know where to find things. Um, but there have been businesses that have moved to that creator mode, that creator
okay,
profile, so that they get more music. There are a
right.
few more creative tools that you get with that. So there have been businesses doing that, sacrificing the data
Mhm.
to have some new bells and whistles. So we
Nice.
may see that. It's not like Facebook. It doesn't matter what your account is set up as.
What do you think, Andrew? Anything you want to weigh in on here on Instagram, or what's your
Yeah, I was just thinking that kind of frustrated with the fact that you can't just put a simple clickable link when you make a post, though. So I mean, I never understood like why they limited that on Instagram and why at this time they still haven't implemented it. So
Because Instagram is a video platform and not a posting platform. Instagram's always wanted to be different, right? They haven't wanted to be like Facebook where you can add links. They haven't wanted to be like Twitter where you have links. And so it's just the one link. There
you know,
is, we're all waiting, I think, for accounts that are less than 10,000 to be able to add a link to a story.
Mhm.
That sticker has been rolling out over the last 6 weeks. I still don't have it on any of my accounts, which are less than 10K. So Instagram's sticking to that lane of not sharing links, not having clickable links. They
And I,
allowed it a little bit. Sometimes there were brief moments you could see the testing, but they've never
and,
really made it stick.
and I thought I saw some news about some type of live streaming coming into Instagram.
maybe,
So
yeah, yeah. They were talking about doing it. They haven't quite like started rolling that out, but yeah, like I think we talked about that a few weeks ago, Sarah, right? That they were working on some of the Instagram Live like functionality.
that'd be
So
great.
Yeah,
we'll
changing it
see.
up.
That'd
But
be great.
Yeah.
again, it's one of those things I think where, and I think people need to remember this, like Instagram or Facebook, I guess, for that matter, it's a big experimentation. They're always
Mhm.
testing things, they're always trying different things. I wouldn't be surprised if they've tried to hold Instagram to being mobile only for so long because it essentially gives them a desktop product, a product that also has a mobile app, but
Mhm.
then they also have a strictly mobile environment in the off chance that people have moved to just mobile. And so therefore they have a way to, they're kind of in a way sort of bridging that gap between the products.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were doing it like that.
So speaking of bridging, now that they have audio rooms in groups on Facebook, do you think they're going to have audio rooms coming to Instagram?
They hinted at it, a few months ago, right, Christian? I think early summer they were hinting at it, and we're all like, aren't you a visual platform? Why are you going to audio only? So it'll be interesting there. Now, all of those little audio clips are now searchable too. The audio clips that people use in Reels. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I think Instagram has always wanted to be visual. And so like the links, I don't know if they'll go there.
But he's so into the metaverse now. Zuckerberg.
I know. If you want to know, little pro tip for anybody out there, I'm sort of scanning through the comments right now. If you want to know what Instagram is testing, follow Alexandro Paluzzi on Twitter, because he's posting little screenshots of what's going on his phone or his desktop. He's one of the Instagram developers, and he's leaking the secrets.
Cool.
So
definitely.
Yeah.
So awesome. Fantastic. So Sarah, where do we go from here, by the way? So we got all that Instagram news. What else happened this week?
Let's talk about Facebook. I mean, might as well, right? We'll just jump from Instagram to Facebook.
Couldn't have a show without Facebook, right?
I can't have a show I think we have maybe had a show without Facebook. Some of our LinkedIn shows, I think we haven't talked about Facebook, but Facebook is announcing new assets to their e-commerce platform. So I think one of the big ones is up on the screen is notifications on listings when you have a search that matches. So this is giving you more control over searching for products and getting notifications about them. What's also interesting about this is that it's going to expand past just your local area, so that you'll start to get matches for items that you really want that may be outside your area, because the second half of this big announcement is that Facebook is testing shipping. So they're starting in the UK right now this week. You'll see some shipping options to add to your marketplace so that you can add that cost on and ship things off to people. Now, to protect the consumers and to protect the sellers too, Facebook is sort of expanding their Facebook Pay Plus. Say that 3 times. Facebook Pay Plus. They're going to have a purchase protection aspect to it too. So as I think they recognize, if we go into this field of shipping items and really doing more e-commerce, more so than just the little local marketplace where it all started, really, where people are swapping things locally, they're recognizing if they start to get into the shipping, they need some more protections. So that's I think that's a great aspect to think through this expansion. And part of this announcement too, they have some more news and tips about doing top searches and how categories are going to work. They also have some tips on safety if you're meeting up with people to buy and sell items. So it's a big play for Facebook e-commerce to move ahead just in time for the holidays.
I think that might have been timed. What do you think?
Maybe.
I gotta say, I feel like Facebook's trying to take on Shopify, maybe, like with some of this, where they're trying to. I mean, it's sort of Craigslist, like where people can, obviously post on Marketplace. But I guess the hardest part is like you have that stigma of. I mean, you don't know people on Craigslist either, but you really don't know the people on Facebook very well either. So.
Yeah, but with the local, at least you could see, oh, that person is within my community, and they may be connected to a couple of, and so you can ask. So you get that social proof with it. I don't think it's a Shopify play. I think it's Google Merchants play.
Very possible, yeah. Okay. Very cool. Andrew, what do you think, by the way, about this?
Well, one thing I was going to say that has been frustrating for me, though, with the whole shop focus on Facebook is, I have a business page, and it's
Uh-huh.
it's pretty big, 12,000, followers, whatnot. And
Mhm.
they keep, pushing the shop function, and yet I tried to set up like affiliate links. So I tried to set
Yep.
up,
Mhm.
courses,
Mhm.
Photoshop courses, photography courses,
Yep.
Photoshop presets, actions, whatnot,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and it got rejected. And I'm like, well, you keep pushing this, and then and then you reject my attempt. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess that's against their terms of service or whatnot. And so I kind of gave up on the whole shop concept for my page.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
depends. I mean, if they're did you happen to try courses that were your like, do you own are they your courses or are they someone else's
No,
courses? Or
no. So
yeah,
like, it's me promoting, people in the industry
right.
that I am friends
Mhm.
with, that,
Yeah,
I think their work is sincere.
right.
And so I'll try to, I've done that before.
Mhm.
And that itself has been a pain point on Facebook. I
Yeah.
mean, trying to promote affiliates on Facebook, I've read all the different kind of articles that came out where they're saying that you have to change the lingo. You can't put the
Mhm.
link in the title. You have to put it in the comments.
Yeah,
It's like all this kind
Mhm.
of dancing that you have to do to just try to promote something. It's like, wow.
right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the other thing you could consider trying, maybe this would be a better way. Maybe you could I don't know if you could have the product like on a website, like have like a page on a website
I have
and
that.
maybe link back to
Mhm.
maybe try to link back to that, but have it where it's your original link. You could maybe try that, but
Yeah. The only thing is, I thought the beauty of the whole shop experience was to try
you didn't
to
have to.
focus
Yeah.
on different products. So
Right.
I didn't want to just have a
Mhm.
page,
Yeah.
so,
I gotta say, I
Yeah.
mean, I like the fact though that they are trying to push more like selling. I gotta say, maybe the question I would ask would be, so how much do you all both buy on Facebook? Like, do you buy from Facebook at all, Sarah?
Instagram.
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 Right. I don't shop on Facebook. What about you,
I don't
Andrew?
shop on Facebook.
yeah, I'm pretty much an Amazon type of focused
Yeah.
person.
Mhm.
So, very interesting. I mean, we'll see how these the Facebook e-commerce features roll out. I like the idea that they're actually starting to build out marketplace. Remember, like some of these features, they're always testing things. I got to say, I think the feature I like the most is the notifications piece. How I can get
Mhm.
notified about certain things. That does remind me of like some other tools that may have already been out there, but it is nice to at least be able to get some notifications based off some keywords. So, Sarah,
Right.
anything else from Facebook or any social media news this week we want to?
We can do a real quick lightning round just to run through a couple more
Sure.
items.
Good. Yeah.
That is Facebook is going to open up cross posting from Facebook to Instagram. Now, those of you who may have been using these tools for a little while, remember, oh, I used to be able to do that. Well, it's coming back. So it's going to so Facebook to Instagram, you're going to see in that little screenshot, you can turn it on and off so that not everything you send from Facebook goes over to Instagram. I would say beware of some of the etiquette issues. I actually did this by mistake yesterday. I was in Business Suite, and I uploaded some pictures that I thought were just going to go to Facebook. They ended up going to Instagram too, and the sizes were off, so everything went just sort of blew up and looks terrible on Instagram. So keep in mind sort of the ecosystem of each platform as you're doing this, because people will get bored with you, really, if you're posting exactly the same thing between the two platforms, unless you have two very distinct audiences. So I would say use this sparingly, but again, it's a great time saver to do the cross posting. So it's also a little best practice to actually do two separate posts. Take 3 extra minutes and do 2 separate posts. But regardless, it's there. It's only for posts right now. And Instagram still has that stories and reels sharing to Facebook. So, the channels are going back and forth. It's a little confusing what is and isn't in that pipe, but this is news for the Facebook to Instagram sharing people. Next news, if you haven't heard, LinkedIn is giving up on China. There's just been a lot of issues that they've been having with what can and can't be shared in China. So they are leaving the continent. So and we have a link there with the news announcement. You can also listen. There's a lot of chatter about it on public radio and things like that too. So check that out if that is a concern to your business. And finally, Clubhouse is adding some improvements to their audio stream especially for music performers. And Christian, you and I were trying to figure out exactly what this was, but it looks like you get a few more controls to improve your audio when you're in Clubhouse, which is something that's really important, especially for musicians who may be performing live on Clubhouse. So it also means hopefully that it can help with some of the other folks that you're listening to on Clubhouse, where we've had so little control over how audio comes out.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's some of the social media. Actually, that's the social media news for the week. There's quite a bit, obviously, as you can see. I mean, you got the Clubhouse feature. You've got, again, there's stuff that you probably want to dig into, like the Clubhouse feature. They're trying to basically let you use external microphones. They're trying to let you improve the audio because, again, when we talk podcasting, we talk audio rooms, we talk live streaming like we're doing now. Audio is the most important part of any of those options. Doesn't matter if it's live streaming where video seems like it's the most important thing. It's all about the audio because studies have found people will tune in if the audio is good and you have, bad video because they can at least hear you and get an idea of what's going on. However, if you have really bad audio, they don't care what you look like. They're there to hear what your message is about. So keep that in mind. So what we're gonna do with those is we'll put all those in the blog post, by the way, in the blog post recap. And you could get that, by the way, at if you go to the newsletter, socialjustice.com/daily, we will publish that blog post recap over the weekend. What I want to do though now is I want to turn it back over to Sarah and let's talk with Andrew because Andrew's got some pretty amazing things going on. I mean, I can't wait for you guys to hear about these numbers. So
exactly.
Let's do a little Q&A with Andrew.
A little Q&A with Andrew. Yes, absolutely. Well, let's just be really upfront. Andrew, you are managing groups on Facebook that are hundreds of thousands of people. Like, I think the biggest group you said was over 250,000. Is that right?
So I just passed my 11-year anniversary for the Photoshop and Lightroom group on Facebook. And October 6th, it was 11 years ago. And what happened was that group started really snowballing and got all the way up to 446,000 members.
Wow.
And, it's obviously I'm not a one-man band. I have even created a secret admins and mods group where we've got at least,
that makes sense. Yeah.
At least about 20 moderators who work on these groups.
Nice.
And what happened was originally the 446,000 group was becoming way too much to manage. And the truth is, even if you post like, hey, who wants to be a moderator, when you tell them what it entails, they're like,
What does it entail, by the way?
Right. So
like roughly, like how many hours we talking about? And by the way, if you have a link to this, do me a favor, drop me a link in our private chat so I can get that pulled up.
Yeah.
We pull it up on screen.
Go to my groups here. Okay. So first one. Okay, Photoshop and Lightroom group. And then let's see the digital. 1 second. Just change that for one of my other groups. Bear with me. Okay. That's 2 links to the 2 groups.
Awesome.
Great.
And then let me just go back down to.
So I'll put these in the comments, by the way, for those who are interested in learning Photoshop and Lightroom. I'll put these in the comments. Andrew, I think you have one of the groups too. We could probably pull that up actually. So just let me know when you have that and we can.
Yeah. So I'm ready. So
awesome. So, okay. So you manage these groups. They're pretty massive groups, right? So Sarah, I think
Right.
we have some questions for Andrew, right?
We do. So what are some tips that you can share on building these groups? So you said you've been up to over 440,000 people. So how did you get there?
Right. So originally it was, got all the way up to 446,000 members, and it became too much work for the moderators. And so we ended up kind of archiving that first group and moving over to, a group with the same name, which I think if you archive a group, I'm wondering if Facebook has put me on some type of blacklist or something. They seem to do a lot of different changes to my group as if they're trying to punish me or something. But you still there?
Oh,
Yep.
we're here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
still
So
here.
you've got this massive group, right? And
Yeah.
so obviously, I mean, so you have a team of about 20 people that help manage these. How many posts do you get on average per day? And then I guess what's the goal of the group as well?
Right. So here's a good example. So
Okay.
what happens is it's a Photoshop. It's called Photoshop and Lightroom, but it's a Photoshop and photography focused group. And
Okay.
so it's a mixture of Photoshop artists and compositors, like you see here,
Okay.
and also photographers. So here's someone doing
Netflix art.
someone
Okay.
asking for a preset. Here's someone
Mhm.
showing their work, and then typically people will post their work and get constructive criticism. So that's kind of the nature of the group. Is
Okay. Cool.
it's kind of a given that if you post your work, you're open to constructive
Cool. Okay.
criticism,
Awesome.
unless you say no CC.
Okay.
Mhm.
Got it.
And then what happens is, people give their feedback about
Okay.
the different style of,
Nice.
and you get all different kind of styles, which is great. And this is
Yeah.
a friend of mine, Elizabeth.
Mhm.
Pretty creative stuff. So,
Right.
Nice. Wow.
so the main thing is, you get constructive criticism. It's a
Okay.
place for people to grow. Then there's also people who share video tutorials, and then I will create live video events in the group
Okay.
that I stream with StreamYard.
Cool. Very cool.
And I will stream to the Photoshop and Lightroom group, my digital art group, Photoshop and photography group, and sometimes my strange and surreal art group,
Got it.
Mhm.
as well as LinkedIn now and YouTube. And then with that, I'm the host, and then I'll have someone who is in my group who is, in the industry and
Okay.
can go over some different topics of Photoshop and Lightroom, color
Mhm.
correction, tonal correction, maybe photo compositing. We have someone next Saturday that's going to be doing one about photo compositing for like Halloween or horror type imagery. Keep it
Mhm.
holiday focused. And so that originally you asked a question about, what are some of the kind of moderating tasks. One thing that's changed a lot was in the past, groups have evolved a lot. And in the past, one thing that they used to do was it used to be that anyone could post anytime.
Right.
And
Which is
without
like,
that kind of regulation,
yeah.
what would happen is I'm on the West Coast. I
Okay.
would go to bed, and then I'd wake up in the morning with, our private admin group where people were kind of in a panic, stating that a group of hackers had invaded the group and were posting like porn.
Right.
And so we'd have to like scurry and clean up all the different posts. And I was like, sheesh. And then what happened was in time, they have post approval. So post approval has been like the best kind of invention that they've added to groups. And what that is that there's kind of like an area that the posts come up to, and then you have to approve or decline as you go. And then if there's
Okay.
someone
Cool.
who has been posting for, a year or more, and you trust them, you can give them pre-approval. And so you
Okay.
don't
Yeah.
have to
Mhm.
necessarily moderate their posts.
Right.
But yeah, that's been the best feature, the post approval
Mhm.
feature.
And
But
go
yeah,
ahead.
you're saying?
I was just going to ask, are you using some of the features like you can tag people as experts? You can use some of the badging. Are you doing that with your groups too? Or is it just too big to manage that kind of thing?
Right. So yeah, there are certain people who do answer a lot of questions and,
Okay.
have been in the industry for a while. And so I've tagged them or, set them as, experts in the group. And a lot of times those same people that I've set as experts in the group will be the people who I do live video events with.
Mhm.
One thing that we also do is on Mondays.
Yeah.
Let's see if I go to announcements. On Mondays, one of my admins, Malcolm Pollock, it's great admin. He
Okay.
will create these type of video slideshows to showcase the work of different
Nice.
artists. And it's all different
Nice.
kinds. Sometimes it's just pure photography, then it's other people who do photo composites. But it's a nice way of showcasing the work of a different member every Monday. And then we keep things to a schedule. So on Tuesdays, I send out a Photoshop and photography newsletter.
Okay. Cool.
And that features, a member's work.
Yeah.
And then with that, I will pin post it to the various groups so people can kind of see more of the work of this member, of this artist.
Okay.
And then on Wednesdays, I go up and I do a post where, let's see if I go back to the discussion. If you go here and then you go into the kind of sub area, there's a lot of different options that give you in groups. So I can create a prompt, and then I'll click on write a prompt, and then I'll say, show us your Instagram links. And so I'll create like an Instagram link thread, and that's a big hit. So that's a way that people can follow everybody else's different Instagram links. The thing is with that is I like to keep things focused. And so we're not too keen on the people who then comment on everybody else's links saying, follow mine. So
Right. Yeah.
we consider that spamming.
Okay.
So we do work pretty hard. I mean, other groups are kind of like free for all. We're not like that. We try to keep our group very focused on the work, and we don't let, people can ask if they can promote a conference or a special event, and depending on if it looks sincere, then I will allow it. But a lot of times we don't allow overt self-promotion because it just looks spammy. Yep, sure.
Very cool. So okay, so you got a team of 20 people that helps, for example, with some of these. Let's just quickly talk about monetization. And you don't have to say like, oh, this is how much like somebody actually gets paid. But okay, so it sounds like your admins do quite a bit of work, I guess, right? Or your moderators, right?
Right.
Are they doing it out of like a passion project, or is it, are there like, can they actually make a pretty nice living doing this?
No, it's a selfless thing. So, I mean, thank you for the admins and moderators. But yeah, they're, it's a selfless thing that they do, but I do try to send them perks. So when I can get, certain plugins or perks, and sometimes extensions of the Creative Cloud subscription from Adobe, I just send that to them. So I do send them perks as a way to say thank you, but it's not like a paid position to moderate these groups. And then for me, myself, I do, to be transparent, I do promote certain affiliates on and off.
Okay. Of course.
And then at times, I also run, besides Photoshop and Lightroom group, I run the Photoshop and photography group on Facebook, where we allow more like gear question type posts. And so with that, I'm an Amazon affiliate. And so I will post some of those kind of affiliate links when people ask like, what is the best external hard drive or whatnot.
Right.
Very cool.
Are you finding that the core is really these Facebook groups, or are you seeing more engagement with your newsletters? Do you try to encourage people to go to your newsletter so that you can have, should anything happen to your Facebook group, you have that contact information? Or are you sending them to YouTube videos too? How are you managing that cross-platform aspect?
Yeah, I do try to, bring the two worlds together, but it's very different though. So, I mean, with a group like this, it's 240,000 members, and then with my newsletter, it's like 1,500 subscribers. And so, different things have different challenges. And so with the newsletter, it's been harder for me to build up a good subscription base. But the good thing is, it does seem like a lot of people are dedicated. Like there there's been a very minimal unsubscribe amount. So
Okay.
the amount of people who unsubscribe is very minimal. So people do come back. The one thing I got smarter with the newsletter was I used to just say Photoshop and photography newsletter featuring, and then there was a certain amount of, opening rate. And then I read some articles about creative titles, and that really helps. So using emojis and then using curiosity is a great way to get people to open your newsletter. So I started focusing on different kind of intriguing titles that would get people to open. But yeah, to kind of bring the two worlds together has been kind of a challenge. I surely do not have 240,000 subscribers to my newsletter.
Yeah.
That would be a big bill.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I know, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I use MailChimp, so that would.
Yeah.
But,
Very cool. Yeah.
So very cool.
But yeah, I mean, when Facebook went down for, was it 6.5 hours, just like a week or so ago, that question did come up in different groups: is what do you do if it were to go away completely? And
Yeah.
so I do have the email newsletter, and I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, etc. But my belief is that it's sort of like Clubhouse. Like when Clubhouse came out, I saw a lot of people that I knew from Facebook, as well as made new friends on Clubhouse. My belief is that anything with a similar focus would bring over the same people. So if someday Facebook were to go away, then a new platform that were to arise, I think would also attract similar people, and I'd be able to be connected again to my kind of base, I guess you could say.
Well, certainly you said that you had the 446,000 people, and then you switched up the group and restarted it, and you still had more than half migrate to that new group. So for sure they found you again, right?
Right. Well, one thing that you find out with like Facebook groups though is with the 446,000, it had good momentum, but it was just too much work, and it was kind of crazy. So when we moved it over, they made changes, and the timing was very kind of absurd, really. So what happened was, I wanted to get rid of the original group and start the new group, and the only way that you could get rid of it, besides archiving it, was that you would have to manually remove everyone from that original group. And being stubborn as I can be, I got a team of people together, and we started removing people from that first group, which, as you can imagine, is an insane task. I mean, 446,000 people. But we got all the way down to like 4,500 or something. And then Facebook, I think, didn't like the idea of us doing this. And basically we had a bunch of different kind of glitches or technical things that wouldn't let us proceed. And so I had to just archive it. And then the funny thing is, almost like a week or two later, in this Facebook Power Admins group I'm in, that is run by people who are part of the Facebook groups division, they said that they are now going to make it so you can just, close a group without having to remove people manually. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, because
after
imagine
all that work, after all that work, they end up doing that. So Facebook has been, it's interesting. Facebook is the one platform that I feel most connected to. It's very visual. I like the layout. I like the things that they implement, but yet it's also by far the most frustrating. Yeah. And when you run a group, there's a lot of things that you don't see behind, the curtain that makes it frustrating. Like the latest was they were starting to change the layout from the cover banner and the title in the middle to the left. And then also the banner would get cropped and scrunched. And I was like, that looks so ugly. Like, why are you doing that? And then I reached out to group support, and they're like, okay, send us a video of it and, show us this and do this. And then in the end, they say, we can't reproduce it on our end. So we're going to close this request. And I'm like, who does that? What kind of customer service is that?
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden it's back to being normal, as you saw earlier. It's middle aligned, but
Right.
it's just a strange way that they do things, where I think they have this kind of steps where they kind of tell you to do all this stuff, and then they think you'll get exhausted, and then they'll say, okay, that's it. Case is closed, even though we didn't fix anything.
Right. I think that's the bane of everybody's existence in formatting images on social media when they change,
Yeah.
change the image. I had a very bad example. We were doing a special event. It was for a symphony here, and we were offering backstage passes,
Mhm.
and the images got cropped from left to right. So if you think about that, first letter leaving the image, it wasn't good for us. Wasn't a good look. So
Yeah. Well,
but we were going to ask a few tips,
Sure.
Andrew, but it sounds like your group is a great place to send people to find
Yeah.
tips for using Photoshop and engaging with some of the tools and finding out what that knowledge base is among your experts and moderators.
Yeah, and usually we have 3 to even 4 live video events in the group a month.
nice. Okay.
Mhm.
We're having one next Saturday, photo compositing, kind of like a horror or Halloween themed, imagery.
Got it.
But yeah, we lots to learn. And then the good thing about it is, some of the great tools for groups is when you do a live video event, you can go back and you can post the recording, and then you can add it to a thing called units. And I
Mhm.
think,
Yep.
I think it might be
Mhm.
guides now. They keep changing things,
They
but
keep changing the names.
I think it's
Yeah.
under guides, but it used to be called units, and it's a great way to have a whole listing of, basically years of recordings of live video events. And I also posted, information. There's like an information or file in the group of different links, and I have a link back to my website that there is a page for all the recordings, years and years of recordings. Um, and there's plenty of stuff. So, I mean, if you want to learn, you come to the group, you can see the live videos that people post, but you can also go to that list of recordings. So there's color correction, photo compositing, retouching, photography, plenty of things to take in.
Fantastic. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do
Great.
this. I'm going to put a link to your so this is the group we're talking about. And this is pretty amazing. I mean, join Andrew's Facebook group. And I gotta say, just follow the rules. Like, so when you join, there's typically rules in a group. Make sure you just read through them, join. Again, he's got I was sitting here like while we're talking and I'm looking at some of the images. They're pretty amazing what people post, and people are really nice actually with their feedback as well. Again,
Well, we work hard though as moderators. I mean,
yeah.
we make sure that like anyone who is, that's the number one, I guess, rule of the group is be helpful and nice. So for me, what happened was, life is, as they say, life is the best teacher. And so many years ago, I can't remember how long it was, but I was on some online forum, and I think it was an Adobe type of focused forum, Photoshop. And I asked a simple question. And even though I'd been in the industry doing retouching and compositing Photoshop, I asked like a different way of doing something, and a bunch of people attacked me. And in the back of my head, I said, if I ever run a group, I'm going to, the main focus is for it to be helpful and nice. I want it to be supportive. And so that's my top rule in the group. So we have a very low tolerance to people who are mean-spirited, nasty comments, that type of stuff. So if you come to any of my groups, if you're mean or nasty, you won't last too long.
Yeah, that's great.
So
Fantastic. So I have a couple of quick announcements, by the way, just for everyone. Just a couple of quick things here. We put a link to Andrew's group. Be sure you go and join that. In addition to that, this is happening. I think it's today, right, Doreen? Sorry, Doreen. Right, Sarah? Sorry about that.
Yes.
Oops. Kind of
No,
gave that one away.
That's all right. Yeah. So, a quick one last tip for our tool time here is that Christian and I are both part of the Social Media Pro Video Marketing Summit this week. And actually, I think you have to hop off, Christian, to go moderate your chat for your session.
I do, yes,
Very soon.
yes.
You're going to be on a live panel today at 2:00 Eastern. My session is for live streaming for beginners, and that is tomorrow. I really should know the time, but I don't remember. I think
there's a
it's 9
schedule. If
a.m.
you just go to the website, there's a schedule.
There's a whole schedule there. I will be live at 2:00 tomorrow Eastern with the other folks who presented tomorrow. But this it's a free summit from Social Media Pro. If you want the replays, there is a fee attached to that. But definitely check out some of the content. There's some amazing video marketing people as part of this, and I'm very much looking forward to chatting with them live tomorrow. But again, Christian is live today at 2:00 Eastern, free access. So definitely join it. It was our friend Doreen Morin Van Dam. That's why Christian mentioned Doreen's name. She's been a frequent guest on Social Chatter. All of our viewers love Doreen, and she's actually managing this whole summit. So you'll see her live in chats and live during the panels. So I would say definitely check us out there.
I was going to say, could I share just another group before I
sure.
go as well?
Do you have a link to it?
Yeah, I'm if you share my screen, I can switch over.
Sure.
Okay, so Photoshop and Lightroom group is, Photoshop and photography focused, but even more towards the photo compositing and creative side is my digital art group. So if you search for digital art in the search on the top left, Facebook, that's a newer group. So that's only, 1.3 thousand members. That's very creative focused group, a lot of kind of photo montage work. So please come and join my digital art group as well. It's a lot of fun, a lot of creativity going on.
Fantastic.
Great.
So this has been awesome. By the way, we'll make sure we get so just kind of a couple of quick points for me at least. So for those who want to connect with Andrew is at Digital Artist Drew, right? Is that right, Andrew?
Yeah. Facebook.com/Digital Artist Drew.
And Sarah's at
Sarah Monroe VT across social media. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please drop me a message. Best practice for LinkedIn, right, is to message people personally and let me know that you saw me on Social Chatter, and I'd be happy to connect.
Awesome. And I'm Christian Karasevich, and I'm at Social Chefs. So that's the brand we do Social Chatter underneath. Again, at Social Chefs on all the platforms. Again, same thing. If it's like Twitter, go ahead and follow us. We post a lot of news topics throughout the week. But if it's on any of those social platforms, just connect with me. Again, include a note. Tell me where you found me, Social Chatter. So with that, I want to just let you all know we've got the blog post recap. It's going out over the weekend, socialchefs.com/SC314. That'll get you all the way to the blog post where you'll be able to learn more about how to post to Instagram, desktop, on a Mac or a PC. And then next week, you're going to get Sarah and I, actually. It's just going to be Sarah and I next week. We're going to be doing a show next week with just the two of us.
Right.
We got a lot of topics we want to talk about. Bob Farnham, I think, had alluded to some of those as well.
Bob, mixing it up again.
It'll be youtube.com/social chefs or facebook.com/social chefs. I want to just thank everyone for tuning in for this week's show. With that, we will see you all next week. Have a great weekend, everyone, and make smart choices on social media. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Bye.